Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining me this evening. My name is Monica Buckley. When you think of clothing, you think of the fashion icons of the world, Milan, Paris, and all the beautiful clothing that comes on the runways of the world. From New York's Fashion Week to a London premiere. But the history of clothing is very different than what most people think. Clothing came from a need of keeping your body temperature at a certain point so you can survive. It came from a need of a basic part of survival for Homo sapiens and Neanderthals. Now, as society has progressed, the meaning of clothing has changed. But let's go to the beginning. Clothing became a necessity when our ancestors started walking upright and started losing the hair that covered our bodies. If you look closely, we still have some hair, but it has thinned out to a degree that it no longer does the basic needs that it once did. It does not keep our body temperatures, our core body temperatures, to a point that will keep us healthy. Now, as the human population left Africa, and with the sparse body hair that we possessed, and we began migrating north, the climate changed to a colder climate. And in doing so, our ancestors discovered that they needed something to preserve that heat, to contain it, so we wouldn't die. Now, originally, it was pelts. A pelt is the skin of an animal with hair still attached to it. Now, it has been discovered that our ancestors learned to tan the hides so it would become malleable. Without this preservative, the skins would be very hard and tight. It's kind of like when you leave a piece of chicken out and you know the little skin that's on it, and leave it out overnight and it gets all dried and hard, and you can use it as a doorstop. That's what happens to hide when it is not preserved. Now, what they used to preserve these hides was something called tannin, which is a naturally occurring chemical in oak. When you take oak and you make chips, or you take acorns and you put them in water and let them soak, this natural oil comes out, and they use this to preserve the hides so they can use it for longer periods of time. After a while, you do have to replace them because the fur does come out, or it gets so worn that there's holes develops in the hide. Now, after a while, they discovered that they can use plant fibers to weave into a material. Now, there's evidence of this at about 30,000 years ago, because they discovered pieces of this material in mud and in impressions of pottery from those times. Now, as time has progressed, the significance of clothing changed from a need to protect ourselves and protect our vital organs from the cold and protecting us from different elements, to the status of what we are within the group in general. We have taken this simple concept and changed it into a fashion icon, into how people recognize what we are worth, how much money we have, what our status is, and the different materials used signifies how wealthy you are. The rarer the materials, the higher your standing is. So the question for you is, where are you in our social standing? Thank you for listening to me. Have a nice night.